What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the most recent physique update from Brandon Curry. And I have got to say the quads are looking really good right now. So this video is taken right after a high volume leg workout. So his legs must be full of blood and no separation. But we get a decent idea on what the condition is gonna look like for Brandon in another 2 weeks time at this upcoming Arnold. The side leg, especially that hamstring, is the most impressive part of Brandon's legs. Now he might not have the most detailed legs from the side, but that overall size and the width, and that too in both of Curry's side shots, that looks crazy impressive. Now for those of you guys who do not know, Brandon has won this show twice already in his career, and he's at a point in his career where if he cracks top 3 in this kind of lineup, people would be kind of shocked. Because if he is to do that, he either have to be Derek or Andrew Jacked, who both look in supreme form right now, 2 weeks out of this year's Arnold. Now Brandon has had a very long and a very successful career. He hasn't had any major issues throughout his 15 years long career, which is a testament on how smart he trained throughout his career. So if he retires this year, he would be a very happy man, because from being the last at Miss Olympia back in 2016 to winning the entire damn thing in 2019, that is something totally unprecedented. And you have got to give the credit where it's due. Those guys at the Auto Gym in Kuwait and his former coach Abdullah, they helped Brendan so much during his journey and winning that Miss Olympia title. Guys, Mr. Olympia Signature Series is now live on hostel.com. Use the code FAZI10 to get 10% discount and click the arrow below to check out all the hostel products. Next up, we have an update from the reigning Miss Olympia, Samson Dauda. So something about that caption that Samson posted under a back double bicep post from this past Miss Olympia, that just tells you that they are already way ahead of what these guys presented at the Olympia last year. And all Marlena has to do at this point is to safely land this peak, just like he did for the Olympia last year. And it is pretty simple for Samson to look at his all-time best. He doesn't need a lot of carbs to get full, because even when this man is flat, you just cannot tell, because he looks full as a house and always so round and so bubbly. Now I am very sure Milos Sarcev was using insulin during their carbs loading protocol for all those years, but we all know that never really worked. It was never really 100% in Samson's case in his favor, except maybe at the Arnold back in 2023. That was a great package by Samson Dauda, but still that wasn't even close to what these guys presented at the Olympia last year. So the part where we might see some noticeable improvements, that might be on Samson's back. And that is kinda funny, because not too long ago, it was being said that Samson's back is flat as a board. And I'm not saying that. The mutant Nick Walker said that. And if we look back at the Olympia footage from last year, he won the back lat spread against two guys who both have amazing backs. So how Samson Dauda has been able to improve from one show to the next one, and how this man was able to get so big without even skipping any Arnold since 2022. That is just exceptional, and that is so unbelievable. All those guys who have stepped on the Olympia stage multiple times, they are genetic freaks. And just look at the size of Regan Grimes and Rafael Brandao, and those guys were beating Samson Dauda up until 2021. Now they have taken long off season, more than 1 year long, and they still aren't even close to the level of Samson Dauda, especially in terms of size, and now in terms of condition as well. Guys, Gorilla Wear is offering a massive discount of up to 70% right now. Use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. Next up, we have a freaky looking update from Terrence. Glad to see people jumping on Terrence's hype train. As a 2 times Arnold champion and 2 times runner-up at the Olympia, he 100% deserves that. So after looking at those 11 weeks out physique updates, one must say, Terrence claiming that he's gonna be roughly 10 pounds heavier compared to what we saw back in 2023. That isn't exaggerating it at all, because the man is looking massive right now. So although that picture is taken at an angle, but you just cannot get the legs to look that big and that massive and look like that, unless you have adductors like Terrence's. So the assessment of Terrence was absolutely right about where he wants to put the most amount of additional muscle. He certainly doesn't need more quads, because they are already some of the best in the game. The upper half can definitely hold more mass, especially his arms, his biceps, and they have been looking very impressive in all of his recent updates throughout this year's Pittsburgh Pro Prep. So Terrence is a unique individual in the first Olympia callout, maybe even in that entire top 10, who has so much room to get bigger to grow before he hits that classic physique weight cap. And that does put him at a great advantage, especially if he puts all that muscle very smartly on his frame. So since starting his Pittsburgh Pro Prep, his physique has been changing very fast, and we expect to see the all-time best version of Terrence, not only at this year's Pittsburgh, but also at Dubai Pro and then the Olympia later this year. Because for him to fight for that Miss Olympia title this year, Pittsburgh Pro is a must-win show for Terrence, and so is Dubai Pro. Next up, we have an off-season physique update from Keone Pearson, the reigning 212 Olympia champion. He's well on his way to continue this push phase, and just take a look at that off-season waist size when he fully opens up for that rear lat spread. The greatest achievement of Keone Pearson throughout his career, throughout the evolution of his physique, was that he got bigger every year, but he made sure his stomach, his waistline, that did not blow out one bit. He has put on roughly 20 pounds of solid muscle since transitioning from classic physique to the 212. And his proportions right now, they are way more impressive than they were in classic. And that is what makes him so damn unique. And now that he is on his way to be a men's open competitor, maybe in the next 3 or 4 years, which only means one thing: he's gonna have to max out that 212 weight cap first. And the man is very extra cautious about his stomach, his waistline, because in order to max out that 212 weight cap, he has to put on another 10 to 12 pounds on his frame. And I believe 10 pounds on Keone, that is gonna look way more than that, because of that insane illusion that he's able to create on the stage, especially when he opens up. So the 212 competitors are kind of doomed. That kind of mindset that Keone has, how he has been so driven during the off-season, the man is just way ahead of the game and way ahead of all of his competition. So his transformation from 2023 to 2024, that was one of the best we witnessed in the recent past in bodybuilding. And do not be surprised if you guys see a similar one next time around in 2025. Enough said by the mutant Nick Walker when he was asked by Guy on how Nick is looking at 12 weeks out of probably the most important show of his pro career.
That's how we're looking. Are we
Looking
getting
like a
ready?
Pittsburgh, looking like a Pittsburgh champ.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking like.
Straight and simple answer. And if Nick Walker really nails his condition, like he always does, especially the way he did all the way till the Olympia back in 2022, the number that he's quoting right now, which is 270 pounds on the stage, that's like more than 12 pounds than what he weighed last year at the New York Pro. If that is the case, I think he's just gonna be way too big for a guy like Martin.
No. I think I'll be 270 at Pittsburgh. I said my heaviest though was at New York. I was 257, 258.
How tall are you, Nick?
Now,
Now you have got to remember, according to Nick Walker, he was way off at the New York Pro last year. And there is no other way of saying that he still looked bigger and more muscular than Martin. And he definitely feels like he is in a much better spot right now at 12 weeks out compared to last year. And don't think for a second that he isn't fully aware of the fact that if he blows out his waistline during this entire process, it's just gonna be all over for Nick, because that's a non-negotiable, especially in this era where the most aesthetic physiques and more streamlined waists, they are being favored. So he has to bring a similar package to what we saw at the Olympia back in 2022, bigger in all the areas except his waistline. Now, I believe we are on our way to look at this freak of nature be truly freaky at this year's Pittsburgh Pro, because Nick is gonna play the size game against a guy like Martin, and that I think can play in his favor a lot. But do let me know what you guys think, and also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.